Today we're breaking down the update we've all been waiting for, the YBA 1.8 update. We've seen some big updates before, like the legendary Stone Free drop, but the developers and Paragon himself are calling this one massive. They're even hinting it could rival or even exceed the Stone Free update in size. I'm talking a full 18-page update log. My brain is already on fire just thinking about what's inside. The whole game is about to change. The balance, the way we play, the stands we use, everything. The target release date is August 29th, 2025, which is basically the end of summer. You are not ready for this. First up, let's talk about the new stands dropping. And oh boy, they are spicy. We've got two new stands, both locked behind quests. No more lazy arrow popping. First, we have Crazy Diamond Requiem, or CDR. This isn't what some of you might have expected. It's a tank-type stand. No time-related abilities, so if you were hoping for a mini time stop, you're out of luck. But a tank-type stand? Think about that for a second. It's gonna be chaos on release. The quests to get it are expected to be lengthy and challenging, and you'll need to have Crazy Diamond to evolve it. But the real hype comes from the leaked skins. We're talking a sleek diamond variant, my favorite, a gorgeous jade variant, and the crazy idol variant. This could completely redefine what a tank-type stand is in the YBA meta. I'm speculating that its healing or defensive abilities are going to be absolutely insane. Can you imagine trying to beat a good CDR user? It's going to be a nightmare. Next, we have Diver Down. This stand has a wild ability. It can submerge into surfaces, a lot like SCP-106. That's right, you might be able to dive into the ground or a wall to avoid attacks or set up a nasty surprise. Like CDR, this is also quest only, and you need Stone Free to evolve it. The leaked skins for this are amazing too. Most are aquatic-themed skins, so we can assume this is for Diver Down. Now, here's my analytical take. If Diver Down can submerge into surfaces, what does that mean for game modes like Steel Ball Run? Will it be able to hide and pop out to steal the finish line? Will it be impossible to hit? This stand has the potential to be either completely broken or totally useless depending on how the mechanic is implemented. It's a high-risk, high-reward design, and I'm here for it. This next section is a huge deal, and might be the most controversial change in the entire update. The old lazy arrow popping method is officially dead for all new stands. From now on, every new stand will be quest only. This is a massive shift. The quests are expected to be lengthy and challenging, just like the ones for CDR and Diver Down. Honestly, this is probably a good thing for the game's longevity. It means stands will feel earned. It also means you can't just get lucky with an arrow anymore. Are you excited about this? Or are you going to miss the thrill of the gacha? Personally, I think it adds a layer of depth and makes getting a new stand a real accomplishment. Get ready, because the meta as we know it is about to be completely rewritten. The developers are resetting all skill trees for every player. This is your chance to rebuild your character from the ground up. There are so many general changes. Return to Zero will now only show the cutscene to the person who stopped time. Victims of a time stop will also no longer take damage from burning or poison. They've increased the maximum dash power to 100. D4C clones will now just despawn instead of dying when they are far from the user. Vampire race dash power scaling is getting reduced. They've also added anti-teaming iframes for victims of Vola Barrage and Redirection Barrage. And all beatdown abilities are getting a consistent windup of 0.65 seconds. This is huge for competitive players. Rage mode is also getting a nerf to its defense and damage boost. Other changes include Chop having end lag if you miss or it's blocked, and Pocket Revolver's damage, stun, and speed are all getting a big reduction. Now for fighting styles. Boxing is getting nerfs to Haymaker and Quick Hands because they were too strong. Jonathan Joestar's Haman is getting nerfs to Luck and Pluck but buffs to Scarlet Overdrive and Sunlight Yellow Overdrive. Sword style is seeing more buffs than nerfs, but the biggest news here is Caesar Zeppeli's Haman. They're nerfing his cheese combos and bubble cutters. Bubble cutters will no longer guard break, but will deal heavy block damage instead. This is a massive shift and could change how Caesar players approach fights. This is where things get truly insane. Almost every stand in the game is getting adjustments, and some are getting tier changes. The Hand and Whitesnake are getting a massive buff to their base destructive power, moving them up to S+ tier. That's the same tier as Made in Heaven and Tusk Act 4. Soft and Wet and D4C are now A tier, while Soft and Wet Go Beyond moves up to S tier. My take, the Hand and Whitesnake moving to S+ tier is a complete game changer. These stands were already good, but this buff makes them a force to be reckoned with. The developers are really trying to shake things up and make more stands viable, but that's just the start. Let's break down some of the other key changes coming to specific stands, because these are going to shake up the entire game. Part 3 stands. Star Platinum. Starfinger is getting a nerf with reduced wind-up speed and a smaller hitbox. Magician's Red. Changes were made to make its abilities more reactable. Redbine's wind-up speed is reduced, but it now has a wind-up SFX. Hierophant Green. This stand is getting a lot of buffs to make it feel stronger, but with a few nerfs as well. Emerald Barrage's effective range is increased. Emerald Splash is getting a charging position change, reduced charging firing time, increased stun time, and a reduced cooldown. However, the base damage is reduced. Marionette Control's stun time and wind-up speed are increased, and victims can no longer use abilities while controlled, but can still block. Anubis. The basic combat hitbox is increased, and God of Death's damage and base duration are increased. The world received cooldown nerfs for abilities like Road Sign Slam and Shine. Shadow the World. STW received hitbox changes to make it more consistent. The World Over Heaven. The skill tree costs were adjusted so that stronger upgrades cost more. Reality Overriding Punch was slightly buffed and reverted to its original state. It can now be perfect blocked but also ignores block. Part 4 stands. Crazy Diamond. Shard Shot is getting buffs to its stun time and projectile speed. However, additional nerfs were added to make Crazy Diamond require more skill to use. The Yo Angelo trap duration is increased. The hand's base destructive power is increased to S+ tier. The cooldown for Erasure and second Erasure is reduced. Red Hot Chili Pepper. Many changes were made to make RHCP stronger in close combat, but a few nerfs to damage were also made. Lightning Jab's wind-up speed and stun time are increased, but its damage and range are greatly reduced. Electric Discharge's damage and stun time are increased. Chili Pepper Alternate Universe. CPAU received buffs to skill point costs, and Godspeed Teleport no longer drains charge. However, Thunderbolt damage is decreased. Killer Queen and Killer Queen bites the dust. Both stands received many changes to make them feel less buggy. All explosive abilities have reduced ragdoll times, hitbox durations, and hitbox delays. Sheer Heart Attack's cooldown is reduced, and it now targets victims faster. Star Platinum The World. A few buffs were added to make SPTW less reliant on combat precision. Skull Crusher's end lag is reduced, but its stun time is decreased. Part 5 stands. Sticky Fingers. The Zipper Pole ability has been replaced with a new ability called Living Zippers. Zipper Extension's stun time is decreased, but it has less end lag. Purple Haze. Purple Haze's virus now near instantly infects everyone within range. Bulb Breaker Punch's wind-up speed is increased. Mr. President. Mr. President received multiple buffs to become a massive threat. Kidnap now has super armor and new VFX and SFX indicators. Turtle Form's cooldown is reduced and it has slight stun immunity. Beach Boy Rod Pull is now more viable, and its base combat range received a nerf. White Album received many deserved nerfs and buffs. Ice Armor's base physical defense is decreased, but Gently Weep's slowing range is increased to 25. King Crimson. KC has new SFX and voice lines. A new upgrade Clean Cut was added. King Crimson Requiem. KCR received a new ability upgrade called Hemorrhaging Strike. Silver Chariot Requiem. SCR received many changes to buff support gameplay and reduce unfair gameplay. A Helping Hand now heals the user and allies again, and its range is nearly tripled. A global cooldown was added to Conqueror's Will. Part 6 stands. Stone Free. String Lasso can no longer pull ragdolled or invincible victims. However, its wind-up speed, projectile travel speed, and stun time are all increased. Home Run's wind-up speed is decreased. Whitesnake. Whitesnake received buffs to its disc abilities, and its base destructive power is now S+ tier. Spirit Disc and Memory Disc received buffs to their wind-up and walk speed. Weather Report. Weather Report received many nerfs. Frog Rain's cooldown is increased, and you can no longer pose during its duration. Ice Spikes no longer have collisions, and their cooldown, wind-up speed, hitbox size, and base damage are all decreased. Cmoon. Cmoon received many buffs, but also a few nerfs to abilities that were too quick. Uppercut to the Moon's cooldown and end lag are reduced, but its stun timer, wind-up duration, and wind-up speed are adjusted, nerfed. Made in Heaven. Time stop resistance and throw knife upgrades were removed. However, time acceleration's movement speed buff, duration, and range are all increased. Part 7 stands. Tusk Acts 1 through 4. Tusk received multiple buffs and some nerfs. Nail Shots and Wormhole Nails damage is increased for Acts 1 through 3. Nail Shot and Wormhole Nails now deal heavy block damage. Focus Nail Shot and Golden Rectangle Nail now damage through opponents' blocks. Scary monsters. The stand is less spammy and shares cooldowns between hybrid and full form. Hybrid form received changes to make it more viable without full form. The Dino Virus now disappears when the user's HP is below 25%. Dino Barrage's Phase 2 now ignores block on its final hit instead of block breaking. D4C. D4C's base destructive power and speed are increased to A tier. Dimension Hop now boosts the user's sprint speed and removes bleeding, poison, and burning upon entry. Clone Swap also boosts sprint speed for a moment and removes the burning status effect after swapping. D4C Love Train. D4C LT received multiple buffs to Clone Swap and increased its skill tree variety. Clone Swap now boosts sprint speed and removes the burning status effect after swapping. The World Alternate Universe. TWAU received a new skill tree with multiple new upgrades. Throw Knife no longer has a decreased stun time. And finally, Part 8 stands. Soft and Wet. Soft and Wet's base destructive power is increased to A tier. The Friction Beatdown ability was re-added. Soft and Wet. Go Beyond's base destructive power is increased to S tier. The Go Beyond cooldown is reduced, and its bleed duration and damage are greatly increased. However, its wind-up speed and base explosion damage are greatly reduced, and its end lag is doubled. The technical side of this update is just as exciting as the content. The developers have rewritten half of the game's code. The goal is major optimization to improve FPS and ping. A faster, more stable game means better fights and a smoother experience for everyone. This also means faster development cycles for the future. We're also getting a bunch of new stuff. The arcade system is getting an overhaul, faster, cheaper, and with better odds for valuable items. We're also getting brand new skill trees and upgrades for stands like King Crimson Requiem, Chariot Requiem, D4C, D4C Love Train, and the World AU. We'll see new NPCs like the Anasui NPC and a whole Poochie NPC questline. The roadmap even teases future endgame content and a new map. It seems like this update is just the beginning. So that's the YBA 1.8 update. The meta is gone. We have new stands, new quests, and a whole new game. I'm hyped beyond belief. The release is targeted for August 29th, so get ready. What are you most excited about? Are you going for CDR or Diver Down? What do you think about the balance changes? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of all things YBA, make sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss our breakdown of these new stands when the update drops.